Hey, beautiful souls, beautiful sunshine here with DR Holistic Healer, aka Sonia B. So I am back with this prophetic message. So with that being said, I have two quick prophetic messages that I want to give. The first message that I saw was I saw God was in my presence, right? And I felt like God was in everyone's presence. I felt, and now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like it's like Judgment Day, right? Okay. So the reason why I say that too is because I felt like the enemies were there, but I also felt like I also knew that He was there, and I felt like His presence was so strong to the point that my eyes were like this, like I didn't have them fully open, but they were like this, to the point that His presence was just, again, so strong. So I really feel like there's two situations that's taking place here. One, that's a situation of God's presence just being so strong. And two, there's a situation of some people, like, I get the feeling, like that some people may be trying to block people from seeing God's presence, okay? So, and it could be coming a situation to where your enemies could be trying to keep you from just basically seeing certain things, thank you, Spirit. Because especially the closer you get to God, the more the enemy would try to throw blocks in your way, to try to throw attacks in your way, and so on and so on and so on, okay? Trust me, I'm a living proof of this, okay? So with that being said, God's presence was so strong. Like I said, remember, there's two groups of people. His presence was so strong. And then again, like my eyes were like this, and it just seemed like I was just in His presence for like a long period of time, right? So anyway, but with that being said, some of you guys could be finding yourself getting more closer into His presence, okay? So keep, whatever it is you're doing, just keep doing whatever it is you're doing, don't give up. Don't let the enemy try to defeat you. Don't let the enemy make you feel like that they have won, because spiritually we have already won the war. It's just a matter of allowing the physical 3D reality to line up with the spiritual plane, okay? So if that makes sense, because remember I told you things happen spiritually. They manifest in the heavenly realms. It manifests in the ethers first before it manifests down here on earth. So anyway, I just got the feeling of just being in God's presence, and I was there for a minute. Like I was literally there for a minute, like some hours had passed, and I felt like I was still in His presence, okay? So like I said, for those people who are trying to get closer to God, just keep doing what you're doing, and don't stop seeking Him. Don't allow the enemy to frustrate you, because I know sometimes they throw frustration in there as well too, to keep you to be off your path. But just stay focused, and just know that God allows the enemy to come in for a purpose. Just know that the enemy has a purpose as well too, okay? And their purpose is to help push you along, so that way it's almost like helping to push you along, so that way you can be where it is that God wants you to be, okay? So without them pushing you to certain places, because sometimes when you get a little comfortable, sometimes God will light a little fire underneath our asses and get us out of our comfort zones, and He allows situations to take place and to happen, so that way that we can move, okay? So I'll give you a classic example. Romans 11:28 says, concerning the gospel, they are enemies for your sake, but concerning the elections, they are beloved for the Father's sake, okay? So God still loves them too, whether they're your enemies or not, okay? And He has them there for a purpose. It's like playing chess, okay? You're trying to get to the other side of the board, and you got to defeat the enemies along the way. So look at it from that standpoint. And I know it's not all fun and games when you're having to deal with it. Trust me, I know I have to deal with it for my neighbor, should I say. But anyway, with that being said, not to give up the good fight of faith, okay? Anyway, so this other message came through as I heard a doorbell ringing, okay? And I just heard the doorbell go ding dong. So somebody's going to be coming to your door, whether you ain't going to be expecting this or whether they're going to catch you off guard. And it could be a situation that's unexpected. So I'm just letting you know that as well too. But with that being said, let me bring something to your attention as well too. I know this journey can be hard, and on this journey, God will be putting us in positions where He will allow us to be in certain situations that people may start to look at us at a certain way. That's why it's so important to not just, for those people who don't, I'm gonna just say it. That's why it's important to not give a fuck, okay, what somebody else is thinking, okay? Just don't even care what they're thinking. And I say that to say, because yesterday something rolled across my timeline in regards to Chris Tucker, I think it was. Or did I look him up? I think I looked him up in a sense. And I was just wondering, like, what happened to him or whatever. Like, because I think I was, yeah, that's what it was. I was telling my kids that I had saw him in his last movie that he did. I think it was like 2016, 2013, something like that. Anyway, but I thought, so anyway, I just Googled him and I ran across something that just talked about what really happened to Chris Tucker, right? So just talking about just different things he was working on. So two things God brought to my mind, and it brought me back to David Chappelle as well too. So on this journey, you have to remember, when you start seeing people fall off like that, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong with them, okay? They just coming to the point of enlightenment, just like you are at this point in time, okay? Just like myself, when I became upon, you know, my enlightenment, my neighbors started, it was no more, hey, how you doing? You know, and not saying that I wasn't ever being genuine or whatever the case may be, but I realized that my neighbors weren't being genuine in the sense with God revealing stuff to me. So with that being said, when you pull back your energy, time, and your effort that you normally would give people, and people don't like that, because now it's like they no longer can use you or take from you in a sense like they were doing before, okay? So they benefit off you being around. So when you pull back your energy and invest that time, energy, and effort into yourself, people can no longer take advantage of you in a sense. It's like when you know thyself, they can no longer take advantage of you, okay? So they take advantage of you because you don't know yourself, okay? And that's where I was when I first started this journey. And so, and if you think about it, and I'm only bringing this up because God had brought this to my attention. He was like, yeah, it's the same thing like that David Chappelle went through. You know, when people thought he was crazy because he went off to Africa, he was, you know, exploring certain things, exploring, I guess, his roots or whatever the case may be. He was coming to the place of enlightenment. He wanted to know things. He was searching. He was searching for whatever it was he was searching for. And the point of the matter is, you know, and we all know that he went through that episode where Hollywood was trying to get him to wear a dress. And he was like, no, I will not do that in a sense. You know, they was trying to throw all this money at him, but he said, I cannot be bought, okay? And if you think about it, you know, he had to go through the situation of people telling him that he was crazy, and he was like, no, I'm not crazy, you're crazy. And when you think about it and you come into enlightenment, at first, at one point in time, you really looking at other people like, okay, so let me just say it like this. Thank you, Spirit. Spirit was just like, if you asleep, of course you're going to think other people are crazy because they're doing something different. But then when you start doing something different and you pulling yourself back and not doing what you was doing anymore, then you start to become, as they quote unquote say, crazy or whatever. So again, I'll be the first to say that David Chappelle, as well as Chris Tucker, they just basically stepped into enlightenment, should I say. They were woken up to the truth of the matter. And even like Chris Tucker, because I think I was listening to something that just mentioned about him, you know, saying that he didn't fall off because, or he didn't become blackball or anything like that. He didn't say that he didn't become blackball. I'm saying that he didn't become blackball in the situation. He just understood his worth. He seeked out God, and, you know, he understood that there was a higher power, and he understood that he didn't want to allow himself to be locked into that role again of just being Smokey from Friday or just playing those type of roles. And I commend him for that. You know, I commend him from standing in his morals, values, and having integrity and not allowing anybody to throw any money at him and make him think, well, hey, if you do this, you can get this amount of money from it, you know. So he couldn't be bought either. So that's why it's so important not to run and chase after the money or chase after the wealth, because the truth of the matter is, when you stand in God's presence and God reveals to you who you truly are, you're not going to need to chase after money, because you're going to already know that you are wealthy and you are rich in spirit, okay? And as long as you're wealthy and rich in spirit, there's endless abundance in your bank account, okay? And it just needs to be manifest down on earth as long as you are in what? Alignment with God, okay? So I say all that to say, again, some people may call you names. You know, y'all don't know this, but I had a sign out front, right? And it said, I had a sign out front. I don't want to move because I got this pictures behind me. But anyway, I had a sign out in front of my yard, and it was talking, I basically said that Judgment Day is here, right? So it just so happened that the one that I have been, and it wasn't no target in particularly just to them. It was just in general. That's what I was being called to do. One day I woke up and God was like, put a sign in the yard. So anyway, with that being said, the sign says something similar to like Judgment Day is here for all of us. And what was it? Jeremiah, I think I read the scripture to you guys, Jeremiah 44:4, and in Jeremiah 4:4, you guys can go back and read that if you didn't see that message. But anyway, just talking about, so, you know, whatever deeds that a man sowed, that's what, you know, he will receive in return. So anyway, I just so happened one day I was walking out of my house. I believe I was walking out the house, and I saw the neighbor just shake his head like this, like, you know, because I told you, y'all didn't know this, but he actually told me, he actually told me that I was going, what did he say? He said, I don't know what happened to you. He calls me Miss Sonia, right? He said, I don't know what happened to you, Miss Sonia, but he was like, you just like, you went crazy. And I was just like, and it didn't bother me. You know, it would have bothered me some time ago, you know, if somebody would have said something like that, but I know that's not my truth, and I'm not claiming that. So I just know something that he does not know, you know, that is yet to come. So with that being said, I left it alone. I didn't fuss with him. I didn't argue with him. I said what I needed to say, and I walked away. But anyway, so again, as I said, you can think back on Chris Tucker. You can think back on David Chappelle with them going through and just reaching a point of enlightenment, okay? And that doesn't mean that their journey ends there. We're always going to be evolving and learning until we leave this until we leave this earth. I always felt like or I heard this saying some time ago when they're talking about Bible stood for basic instructions before leaving earth, okay? And when you think about it, it makes sense, okay? So anyway, I'm going to end it there, y'all, but I wish y'all all much love, much light. I say peace and blessings, and just remember to stay prayed up. And I wish you all nothing but the best, and know that you can get through this. We all can get through this, okay? Just remember, if you can just try to keep in your heart, mind, body, soul, and spirit that we have already won the war in a sense. But of course, I'm hearing spirit say too that the enemy will come along and try to make you think that you haven't, that you have been defeated, so that you can give up. So, but just more importantly, just be humbled about the situation. And more importantly, if you just keep that relationship with God, just go to God in prayer. Go to God in prayer and take some time for yourself. Take some time for meditation. Close your eyes. Give God some time, you know, and just know that that's a start that gets you in his presence, okay? So with that being said, stay prayed up, y'all. I love y'all. I wish y'all all much love, much light, and I say peace and blessings until the next message. Bye.